Hi, everyone. This is James with McCormick Systems, and I will be taking you through a quick rundown of McCormick Systems plumbing and mechanical estimating software, and highlighting some of the great features that make McCormick the go-to for efficient and accurate estimates. As we run through this is going to be more of a high-level overview. And if you do have additional questions and would like to reach out possibly for a demonstration, after this, after watching this quick video, there's our contact info there, 800-444-4890, and my email as well. You can reach out to me, whatever's convenient. Whatever way is convenient for you. As I said, I'm going to run you through kind of a high-level overview of our system here today. A little background on McCormick. We've been around for a while, since 1979, offer plumbing and mechanical, electrical, automated building systems estimating. Today, we're going to focus on the plumbing and mechanical. McCormick Systems is owned by Foundation Construction Accounting Software, and we do offer direct integration with Foundation to easily move, from estimate to an active job in your accounting program. We can also accommodate moving data over to other software as well. Both Foundation and McCormick have a long history of helping contractors navigate through the increasing demands of our industry. Look for that to continue, and look for our presence to be even greater as we move forward here. I think you'll really like what we have to show you here today. So how can McCormick Systems help you? Let's go ahead and run through, as I said, a quick demonstration, quick overview of our system. So McCormick is a web-based, resides on the cloud, system that resides on the cloud, and we're going to be able to give you automatic backups. We're going to be able to automatically network your system if you're working with multiple users. You could log in from different computers if you wanted to. So as long as you've got a good internet connection, you're able to get into your system and put your estimates together. Very simple process to put a bid together with McCormick. It's a five steps you're going to work through. Step one, it really is just where we get the job entered into the system. Right? We will click on the fill in the job details. We're going to bring our plans in if we have any at this point. This is really a simple process. It's if you know how to attach a document to an email, it's a pretty similar process to that. So just grab the pages or set that you want and bring those in, and then these are now permanently a part of this job within the system. So anytime you access the program, these plans are going to be here waiting for you. All right, nothing else we really have to do to save. We would just move on to the next step, which is step number 2 here. All right. Step 2 is what we call labels. This is your breakouts. This is a really simple step. We just kind of deciding how you want to organize your takeoff. Is it by building? Is it by phase? Is it by floor? Is it by rough-in, trim, etc. So you're just coming up with a detailed breakout structure to feed your counts and measurements into to help you obviously be organized in putting your bid together, but as importantly, maybe to be able to extract the information after we've won the project. So we've been awarded this project. Have I set my labels, my breakouts up in a way that I can run reports, maybe be useful to track man hours, order materials, perhaps do progress billing, things like that. So your labels, again, although it's a very, very simple step, there's a lot of things that can, kind of flow a little bit further down the road that can be pretty helpful to you, depending, again, how you organize these. This can be blank when we start this. We can utilize a template. If most of our jobs break down the same way, we certainly could have this auto-populate and utilize a template to try to reduce repetitive data entry. McCormick's actually very good about doing that as well. We want to try to get through these estimates as quickly as possible. So any ways we can find to do that, we obviously want to take advantage. All right, so our labels are set. We would go to step number 3 now. we do give you a very comprehensive database. There's roughly 38,000, plumbing, mechanical, and associated items in here, pre-built roughly, 20,000 or so, just to give you a start, assemblies-wise. To find what you're looking for, you'd use your menu here. That's this window. And as I click on a column here, it's going to open up a subcategory. Click on a category, opens up a subcategory. So, and we just work our way through those. And each time I get to the last column and click on an item in there, that is going to link to that particular spot in the database. All right. So again, if I'm looking for, let's say copper pipe, what kind do I want? Let's say 95.5. All right. I want tube, and there's K hard, L hard, soft copper, etc. So again, we just work through those tabs. Now, items are going to have built-in pricing, built-in labor. It's all going to be updatable through different pricing services that are available in the market trade service, Harrison. Oftentimes, you can bring an Excel file in from your suppliers as well. Assembly-wise, this is what's really going to help you speed up your takeoff. When I take off a fixture, let's say, I don't need to necessarily take off each individual item associated with that. We've got a bunch of these that are pre-built into the system. I'm simply sort of speccing out how we're going to install that. Let's say I'm going to plumb that with copper, and then the drain waste vent's going to be ABS. So I've, again, selected that particular scenario, if you will. And let's say I want a wall hung lav, and I've got 2 of them, and maybe those are going in, floor number 1. All right, so I could do just 2, enter. We see that on here. If I review that, it shows me everything that I got. So think of this, when we take off a wall hung lav, it's kind of everything in a vertical plane, from the drain and the angle stop all the way up through the roof vent. And all of our assemblies, we do pre-build, like I said, about 20,000 of them for you. All of these are customizable. You can edit any assembly that you want in the system. You can build them from scratch. You can make copies, minor adjustments. Our database management is very, very easy. That is something that McCormick is known for. All right, so there's a basic explanation of what we're looking at here. Database, menu, that's how you find stuff in your database. And then here's your audit trail down here. What I'm going to do now is sort of backtrack, and then we're going to go into the plans themselves. And keep in mind here, folks, this is a very high level overview of the system. Typically, when I take someone through a web demonstration, it's an hour or so. We're going to give you a detailed look of how the program works. We have a very proven onboarding process, implementation process. We're going to provide training on the software, make sure that you get everything you need to get up and running on the program. All right, so let's again backtrack. Let's go back into step 1. Again, this is where we set up our job, bring our plans in. Step 2, we organize our labels. We create our breakouts here. And then step 3, through the normal flow of putting a bid together, we would go straight to those drawings. So I would click on my green Pro tab. This opens up Design Estimating Pro. Here's our drawing. All right, I could set our scale. All right, and now we would start doing takeoff. Ideally, you're working with a couple monitors so you can roll your drawing over to screen number 2 and have your materials on screen number 1. I'll work from a single screen here today, but let's go ahead and grab something from the database. I've got some cast iron pipe I can count here and measure. So I'll go to my cast iron shortcut that I've created. And in McCormick, you can create all sorts of different shortcuts. We have basically 2 forms of shortcuts, workspaces and favorites. Workspaces are here. They're shortcuts to the database, and then favorites are saved lists. I'll show you here in a sec as well. But I've grabbed my cast iron. Let's say I want to run some 4-inch. If I want to review what's in this assembly, so this one's a very simple assembly, just cast iron and couplings. All right. So we're just going to run some 4-inch. All right. Just pick your start point. All right. And your end point. Left click to start. Left click to stop. So there I've run some 4-inch. It shows me that I just took off 2 runs of 133 feet there. All right. Now we'll just go back in, maybe grab some 3-inch back into my drawing, and we'll just start running these. Okay. Now once we get all of these run, we could get our fittings taken off. Now I mentioned favorites list. Over here on the right, you have a favorites list. This is where we might drop our fittings. All right, where we can just grab and grab and go, drop those into place. Let me show you how we do that with copper. So grab copper here, and we're just running some 1-inch here back to let's say a certain location. All right, and then I want to drop some fittings in here. So I need an elbow right here. Right click, can drop that in there. I can flip that, right, point that any way I want. And your fittings, we do give you pre-assigned symbols in here, but you can create your own custom symbols if you want. So much of McCormick is customizable. You can use whatever shapes, colors. There's actually a symbol designer in here as well. If I click into the symbol itself, it shows us our options of what this could look like. So we've got different T's, Y's, valves, different trim items, et cetera, and of course just basic shapes. And of course everything can be customized with its own color as well. All right, so you're either counting or measuring on here, right? We grab a linear item, which in this case is 1-inch copper, right? So that's your length. I want to put a T on there, all right? We could drop a T in here, and then I could grab my copper again, and we can continue that on, or we could drop those in afterwards. All right, so counting, measuring. All right, there's also a built-in measure tool in here. So if I go into my settings real quick, if you want to utilize this for layout, I could go to my display distance on length takeoff button here and go ahead and activate that. We'll close this out. And I could go into my drawing tools and just start drawing some lines. So if I want to know what the center of the wall is from the outside of the wall, right, I could actually run this, and it's going to tell me exactly what that distance is, all right, and list it on the actual line itself. So in this case, this one is 15.68 feet. All right, so this could be useful for doing layout here as well. All right, so again, just counting, measuring on the screen. Back into my database, let's grab some fixtures. I have a shortcut set for those. I want wall hung lavs. Again, if we want to review that, we hit byproducts. It shows us everything that we're getting with a single click when we take off a wall hung lav. Go in here, all right, take off our lavs. We can resize those. We can change the colors. We can rotate, position those however we want. All right, back in, grab water closet. All right, let's go open seat elongated, and we go in back into the drawing, and we take that off. Again, if we want to rotate, I can right click, or I can grab that. Let's go counterclockwise 90. Okay, so again, count, measure on the screen. Here is a legend showing us everything that we've counted and measured. More importantly, when we're marking things up on the drawing here, everything is going into our audit trail. So when we say McCormick is an all-in-one system, this is what we mean. Everything we take off on that drawing, all right, is going to be included in our estimate. The materials, the time to install those materials, and everything's going to be figured as we mark up the drawing. Okay, let's say we've got everything accounted for. All right, we would go to step 4, extend. And extend really is just a chance for us to review everything we've taken off in this job. We might make some last minute adjustments in here. Pull this over to the screen here. There we go. All right, and I typically would like to start by sorting my labels. So I'm going to separate everything out. What I'm separating is those different breakouts that I created in step 2. I want to be able to look at my individual floors in isolation. Let's collapse those. Now I can see my totals for floor 1, floor 2, floor 3. I can drill down through those, make any adjustments to the labor, to the pricing. This is the point in the estimate where you're just kind of fine tuning based on your knowledge of the industry and what you've seen on those prints, and maybe knowledge of the job itself. So again, step 4 is all your information that has come from that drawing. You counted, measured it on the drawing. It's all flowing into your audit trail, and then ultimately this report, this extension report right here. And this again is time where we manipulate the numbers, double check everything, kind of get everything dialed in. What's great is we can do this without affecting anything in the main database. So any change that I make right here, all right, is just for this particular job. All right, if I want to add a little bit more labor, just jump on a line and start typing. Pretty simple to figure this stuff out. We will take you through, our implementation process, and follow our lead on the training. We're going to give you at least 3 hours of training possibly more depending on your particular needs. We'll come up with a plan that's right for your company in terms of whether it should be just some online training. If you want to come to a class in Arizona or Ohio, maybe we send a trainer to you. So we have a lot of different options. Once we've made our adjustments, we would send to the summary. The summary is our 5th and final step. All right, and we would close this out. And when we get to step 5, we're really just going to work through these tabs on the bottom. Okay, I'm on what's called our top sheet. I would go to my labor tab. I've got 1,911 hours that I need to assign a rate to or build a crew for. All right, we do give you this as just as an example. This is what you would have to sort of work as a starting point, but you of course would put your rates in here. All right, and you can have different labor groups. So if maybe you pull from different locals, or you're doing prevailing wage work, you've got a rate for commercial, rate for residential. You could have different groups that you can pull from, and you can get very detailed with your labor to going as far as figuring in your FICA and your workman's comp and your unemployment insurance. You could also just keep your labor very simple on a job, and just I could say commercial labor rate. All right, and we could put that rate in here of $95 an hour, and we could figure our labor that way as well if we wanted to. Okay, so now I've got my labor built into this job. Or if I wanted to build the crew, let me delete that one out of there. We'll go over here, we'll grab a foreman, push them over into this job. Journeyman, push them over. Apprentice, we'll push the apprentice over. So now I just want to assign a different percentage to each of these, and we would like that to total 100 so that it accounts for all of the hours on the job. All right, if I go back to top sheet, I now see my materials, I see my labor. Now this is just a matter of factoring in the rest of the expenses on the job. So we go into quotes. Set your program up. You're going to have templates to work from. Set your program up to, again, try to reduce that repetitive data entry. Put all your suppliers in here in your template job. Put all your subcontractors in your template job. Again, we don't want to have to type these in each time, so we have them here waiting for us. That's just as an example, just how we fill out one of these. Let's say I've got ABC company that does my saw cut and pour back, and they charge me $89 a foot, and I've got 80 feet of saw cuts, let's say, and pour back. So there's my price for that. All right. Add however many categories you want based on how many subcontractors that you potentially use. Direct job expenses or general conditions. This is where you're going to build in your permits and your maybe your factor in some money for some as-builts and a bond perhaps, any kind of miscellaneous expenses associated with the job, that fall under what we call DJE or direct job expenses or sort of general conditions really. Equipment rental. Again, get your rental companies in here. If you've got a place for those. You can add extra hours to any of these categories as well and code them to a particular part of the job as well. Bond tab in case you have to bond your jobs. And then there's a tax tab in here as well. Make sure you get your tax rates, obviously where they to coincide with where you're doing the actual work. Back to our top sheet, now we just have to build in our overhead and profit. Let's say we run about 12% overhead and we want to profit 14% on this job. We can go ahead and fill those in. And then there's my sell price on this job of $336,209. All right. Now, McCormick, we do have a built-in change order module in our McCormick Pro program. In our standard McCormick, you can still create change orders, but you would not be able to set alerts or track or anything like that. So the McCormick Pro will give you that ability to track, note statuses, have they been, approved, are they pending, et cetera. So here's your change order tracking tool. Plus you can create a change order document out of here as well. Again, that's built into the program. You're not paying any extra for that. All right, so just a quick recap. Step 1, set up and bring your plans in, okay? Step 2 was create your labels, your breakouts. This is how we're going to organize our bid. And again, we're thinking about how we can set up our estimate so that we don't forget everything. And then thinking down the road, this is about how we can potentially use our estimate to run reports, to help track man hours, order materials, et cetera. Maybe do some progress billing. Step 3, takeoff, where we count and measure. These quick buttons I was clicking on up here, we call these workspaces. These are user-defined buttons that that you'll create to help easily, quickly navigate the database. You're going to have a certain amount of parts that you use over and over on jobs, so these shortcut buttons are for you to get to those parts. You can actually create as many of these as you want. Of course, in the drawing itself, we can count and measure on the screen. Okay? Everything is recorded, giving us a legend up here with all of our quantities and symbols, so we understand what everything is on this drawing. As we're marking up the drawing, everything is flowing directly into our audit trail here. Okay? And from here, we'll go to step 4, extend. That we just viewed that. That was that report with all of our counts and measurements where we make those final adjustments. And then bid summary is where we wrap everything up. All right. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions if anyone has any. What I would say again, if you like what you see here, definitely reach out and give us a call, 800-444-4890. And we can run you through a more comprehensive demo. All right, with that, I think we'll end it there. Thank you very much for watching.